Hello Stackers, this is Johnny C from New Jersey. The other day I posted a question about hooking up a custom exhaust to my JB that's under progress of being restored. The reason why I asked the question is that, well, number one, this is a portable unit, at least now it is, and two, I have limited space. I got a lot of responses, which I really appreciate. Some suggestions, some ideas that really would work out great. What I want to do is address each of the issues here in this video rather than sending back a lengthy response on the forum. So let's begin. The first response was from Van Man. He had a concern, a valid concern, about the exhaust gases coming out of this muffler this way, as you can see, following my finger, and going into the air input of the generator, causing a heat issue. He is correct. That possibly can happen. There's two ways that I could solve this issue. Number one, as you can see, this system right here is pretty much all loose. You don't see any muffler clamps or anything like that holding it together. I could either move the muffler back and maybe angle on that a little bit, or what I could do is put like a 45-degree tip and direct the gases away from the generator. Pretty simple fix. Also, Van Man suggested that maybe I could just stick the muffler going straight up and put a flapper on it. That ain't gonna happen. I've seen too many issues where water gets down these vertical type of muffler systems, fills up the cylinders, and you have all kinds of issues. I want to keep it low. Thank you. Second person that responded was Power. He had a concern about back pressure, being that I have a very tight 90 right here, and I got several other 90s. I don't think it's going to cause that much of a problem. I'm trying to use the largest diameter pipe possible. So we'll see what happens. Of course, if there's any kind of back pressure issues, I'm sure we'll find out. Being that these generators only run at 1800 RPM, it should not really be too much of an issue. Once again, we'll see. Thank you, Power. Yo Lister responded. His suggestion was to bring the muffler and the pipe to the front of the generator. I assume he meant this front as where I'm standing now. That would be a good suggestion, providing that the muffler is not going out past the handle. If the muffler goes out past the handle as you're pushing the generator and you slip and fall, you're going to get a muffler in your face. The main problem, though, of mounting the muffler in this area between the exhaust manifold pipe and the handle is that there's just not enough room. I'm probably going to say there's maybe about 15 inches or so to play with, not all that much. The muffler itself is more than 15 inches. If I had a little shorty type muffler, it might work, but this is not the case here. But anyway, thank you, Yellister. Len K, he suggested taking this flex joint right here and placing it up here. Okay, nice suggestion. I guess it would be advisable to have the flex joint closest to the exhaust manifold as possible. However, what I got here from beginning to end is going to be more distance-wise between here and here. Probably would stick out around here or so, and there's no way I'm going to be able to swing a 90 and come down or go anywhere as useful with it. I assume that they make these flex joints, I guess, not as long. What's the length of this flex joint to begin with? Let's see here. It's kind of hard to tell with the video, but I do have a ruler right here. What do we have? Well, let's go down here. We're probably talking about a foot, okay, from beginning to end. So if I take that right here, okay, you could clearly see I'm going to be almost into the handle. If I sweep down to 90, I'm going to be into the handle right here, so that's not going to work, no matter how I do it. But anyway, maybe they do make a less longer type flex joint. I'm not really sure, but this is what I ended up with. I'll check in the stores anyway. Len, thanks a lot. Van Man had another suggestion. Basically, what he suggested was taking this configuration, and instead of going towards the left and down, bring the pipe directly towards me. Okay, then install a muffler either going vertically up or down. I believe he wants to go up because he's talking about his flapper. He loves them flappers. Okay, let's see what's going to happen if we do that. Okay, I'm going to go and angle the camera this way, and as you can see, obviously this generator is on a cart. I want to keep all the components to the inside of the rails of the cart, although it's going to be kind of hard to do. As you can see, the way that I got the muffler right now, it's hanging off about an inch or so. But if we happen to let's say, do what Van Man suggests, I'm going to have to probably bring the pipe out to about here, okay? Maybe a little bit more because we want a little bit of space between the exhaust of this shroud right here and the pipe, and either go up or down. Okay, fine. But with the muffler, as we know, it's probably going to be at least 4 to 6 inches. This muffler here, by the way, is 6 inches wide. Okay, let's see here. My thumb right here is on the 6-inch mark. Obviously, it's upside down. So if we happen to carry it out, let's say right about here, and go down, okay, you could see where my thumb is. It's going to be well past the edge of the cart. So if I'm moving this cart around, and just so happens the muffler is hanging out and catches something, it's going to damage the muffler and possibly the exhaust manifold if there's enough force on it. So I don't know if that's going to work out too well, but it was a suggestion, and I appreciate your thought. Okay, lastly, Ray Lynch, Mike 57, and Geezer 88 basically dwelled on the same theory of how to mount this muffler. Okay, I'm going to try to sum all three into one response right here. Basically what they're telling me is scrap this whole idea right here, and instead bring the muffler, okay, I guess going out that way, okay? But the thing is, they were telling me I would have to build a bracket, possibly off of this bracket right here, to support the muffler and the pipe. Okay, that's a very good suggestion. As a matter of fact, I did use that on a JC model, which of course is much wider, and it worked out well. I mounted a cherry bomb muffler on it, made a special bracket, worked A1. The problem here is that, as you can see, this bracket right here, okay, the lift bracket, is right in line with the exhaust pipe coming right out of the manifold. So if I build any kind of support, okay, for the muffler, I doubt if I'm going to get any support way out here, no matter what I weld or attach over here. Plus also, I need to have clearance for the top of the control box where the mice live, doghouse, whatever you want to call it. As you can see, there's really not all that much clearance, and one thing I don't want to do is block the top of the voltage regulator. If I use the control box to mount any kind of bracket to the exhaust system, muffler or whatever, that's not going to work out too well, because the control box has its own vibration system independent of the generator. You'll probably see, well, hopefully you can see the rubber isolator thingies way down here. There's one in each corner, and that provides its own type of vibration system, anti-vibration system I guess you could say, from the generator itself. Also, I don't want any other type of vibration from the exhaust penetrating through this box and possibly damaging the voltage regulator. So I want to leave any kind of attachments off from the control box and possibly build around it, but I'm not really sure how I would be able to incorporate that to support, let's say, an exhaust system shooting out this way. Again, I have no problem welding anything or doing anything to the lift bracket, but again, it's not going to really buy me any kind of support for a system going out this way or even that way, because the lift bracket's right in line with the exhaust manifold pipe. What I possibly may be able to do is use these stud bolts right here, okay, and build some kind of support, okay, some kind of loop or whatever, but it would have to be pretty high up. Height wise, well, let's see here. Minimally, you're probably talking, well, that's a foot right there, so it's going to have to be higher than that because I want to get it well over the top of the voltage regulator in the doghouse. So you're probably talking about 15 inches, okay, so that's kind of a lot, okay. And again, that's to mount the exhaust system coming out towards me. So that's a dilemma right there. Again, if this was a JC model, no problem, because JC is twice as long, has two of these guys right here. I did build one type of mounting system in the past for my JC. Worked out really well. I'll show you pictures of that in just 1 second. Well, Ray, Mike and Geezer 88, I hope I addressed your suggestions well enough. If I misunderstood, please let me know. So I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do for an exhaust system that's going to work out well for this cart. Again, I want to try to get all components as close as possible to the edge of the rails of the cart and not much further out if possible. What you saw in the pictures that I submitted yesterday to the forum, the system is like what it is you see here. You know, I forgot to mention one other thing. I guess the reason why people out on the forum were sort of like doubting this system that I got here would work well, I guess for several reasons, but mainly because of heat. All right, I can build heat shields, okay, there's no problem with that, but mainly I guess we're talking about just the proximity of the pipes that you see coming out of the exhaust manifold going down and under. The clearance is not all that bad, okay, the way I have it, okay. I'm just going to walk around a bit right here. I do have my ruler. Again, a ruler is going to tell us much more than, let's say, a simple video, because as you can see, the gap between the flex joint and the case of the generator may look like 2 or 3 inches, but was it really? Okay, well, it's about 2 inches, okay. So what we have here is 2 inches of clearance, side clearance, between the flex joint and the vent shroud. And I don't know if that's going to be enough. All right. So as far as the rail, the push rail of the cart, we have probably about 1.5 inches. Okay. I'm not really worrying about that. Okay. That's not really a big issue. I'm worried about heating up the generator. As far as the other areas, okay, down here from the pipe to, let's say, down here, you're talking about 3 inches. Okay, directly above, we have the tin for the exhaust shroud, and the distance between that and the pipe, if I could get my ruler down here, is probably pretty close to about 10 inches or so, okay, with the heat going up. I don't think it's going to do any damage to that. It's not going to do any damage to the starter per se. I do have to route my wires carefully. But one thing I want to point out, if you notice the tin, the exhaust heat shroud, okay, this is almost directly on the exhaust manifold. Okay, now, yeah, I repainted this, but the original paint was not really burned. And you know you're going to get a lot of heat in here, more or less. Okay, we do have a lot of air blowing out, so it keeps it cool, at least it should. So that may be one reason why the paint didn't burn. But again, I got enough distance down here from the pipe to up here where I don't think it's going to cause a problem. Okay, the proximity of the muffler to the generator, okay, it's pretty close. Okay, again, we're probably talking about 1.5 inches. Okay, that may be okay. However, I can move this out a bit, all right? Not a problem. Again, I'd rather just keep it as close to the edge of the rail as possible and away from the generator. By the way, one thing I want to point out, these pieces of wood right here are just used to prop this up. This is all mocked up. It's not permanent. So let's do this. Give me a second. I'm going to make a minor adjustment, and let's see what's going to happen. Oh, by the way, as you can see, the edge of the muffler, okay, the side of the muffler, I should say, does stick out past the edge of the rail, probably like about 2 inches or so. It's not really all that bad. Will it clip a wall if I happen to be pushing the cart close to a wall? Possibly. What damage is going to happen? Probably just scrape up the muffler. But anyway, let me make a quick adjustment, okay? Stand by. Okay, what I've done, I moved this pipe a little bit out towards me. As you can see now, I should have more clearance. Okay, let's take a 360-degree view. Oh yeah, we got a lot more clearance now. I don't think we're gonna have any heat problems. Okay, let's do some measurements, quick measurements here. Again, I'm gonna hold the measuring stick upside down. Okay, we got 4 inches of clearance right there. Okay, let's go down to the point where we measured last. Okay, here we are again. We got about 3.5 inches. Okay, I think that's going to be plenty. Okay, remember, hot air goes up. Okay, it may radiate out to the side. Remember, air is getting turned around in this area right here and going out, so should hopefully keep the case cool, or cool as it can be. As you can clearly see down the side, we're not really in danger of heating up anything that's painted or any critical components. Let's swoop around to this side over here. All right, we still have the same distance, okay, between this bottom of the exhaust heat tin. As you can see, 10, 11 inches, whatever. I don't think there's going to be an issue. Pretty much this pipe is in line with this right here. Any heat that goes up anyway from here is going to get blown away once it gets up into this area, because the hot air all comes out here, okay, from the cylinders. We're far enough away from the starter. Okay, let's see how many inches we are away from the starter. A good 7.5 inches. Okay, on an angle. It's not directly underneath it, as you can see. All right, the muffler itself is far enough away from the generator. Okay, we do have exhaust coming out over here, so any hot air coming up is going to get blown away, likewise over here as well. All right, let's get a view of this way over here. All right, we are slightly hanging out off the rail, not terribly bad. I would probably say, now this is a 6-inch diameter muffler. Looks like we're pretty much halfway, so I'm going to say we're hanging out a good 3 inches. I don't think that's going to be a problem. All right, now as the motor is running, the generator is running, okay, it's going to pretty much rock like this, okay? Hopefully the flex joint over here will compensate for some of the stress. Now the problem here is, and this is where I need the help, I have to mount this muffler. I would like to mount it to the generator so that everything moves together. All right, theoretically then you probably would not need the flex joint. However, I don't think I'm going to be able to mount it to the generator. There's really no way. Okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to weld a bracket or fabricate a bracket to come down to hold it. Okay, down here it's just way too much distance, as you can see. All right, I could fabricate something to come off of these bolts right here, all right, which is very strong, come out and support the muffler itself. I might have to do that. That would work. Okay, what are we talking about over here now? Probably talking about, and again, my I don't know, let's see here. I get this ruler, it's hard to hold the camera at the same time. We're talking about 9 inches out, okay, and probably like about 9 inches down. Okay, that's going to be kind of a hairy bracket. All right, I would need some support. Or what I can do is build some kind of support on the cart frame. Now keep in mind that that's going to rock independently. Actually, it's not going to rock. It's going to be stable. The motor's going to be rocking. But I would have to make this muffler so it floats. So if I build a bracket, let's say somehow to support the pipe, I'd probably have to use some kind of hook coming off of the pipe itself with a rubber donut ring. I don't know. But this is what I need the help with right here. Coming up with some kind of system to support the muffler itself right in this area. Okay, again, it's going to be way too much of a reach from the lift bracket area. We're not going to use the control box, okay, in any which way or form, because that is on its own anti-vibration type of isolators. I have this available right here, plenty of meat. It's going to hold strong. I might be able to utilize something over here like this bolt stud here, but again, it's going to be a far reach. And of course, I got the cart itself. Okay, this is heavy duty stuff. Okay, I could drill holes, put brackets in there, bolt them, thread it, you name it, I could do anything. So once again, this is what I think I'm going to be stuck with going with as far as my system. If any of you guys out there could suggest a way to support all this, that would be fine. Okay, so hopefully the video shows much more detail than, let's say, a couple photos. So here we are. Let me know what we could do. Again, once again, I'm not going to put a system going straight up with a flap. Seen too many systems fail. The flapper hangs open, falls off, whatever. Rain gets in, your set is done. I can't go back this way because the handle, and again, you'll be pushing it. You don't want to eat a muffler if you slip. Yeah, I would like to go this way, but there's nothing really to support anything out here. Once again, the lift bracket is in line with the exhaust manifold stub right here, but nothing's going to buy me any support by using this whatsoever, even if I weld the bracket going out here. By the time I get the bracket out here, it's not going to work out too well. And besides, I do have the control box that's going to be sort of like in the way. Don't want to really block any access to the top of the voltage regulator or whatever. So here we are. That's it. Let me know what you think. Thank you.